Hi guys, I'm going to talk about spiritual awakening and a little bit like you have to be careful who you listen to in that way. So when I was in the Amoreras Fest in San Martino, I met a lot of people and I met a Spanish girl, and I was flirting a little bit with the Spanish girl. I don't know if it was flirting. We kind of like hang out and we were kind of like checking each other's bases. I don't know. And she had two friends with her. We went to lunch. It was super nice actually. The whole thing. And in the evening, I came over to her and we were like chatting at the side of like the dance floor. And then Sam Garrett came down to dance with us, and she noticed immediately because she's like a fangirl, and she was like staring, and then she was like, "Come on, let's dance," because she wanted to dance basically there as well. And it was very, very obvious that she was extremely into him. And I'm coming to the story. It's not jealousy. There's another story to it because it's going to sound that way. But maybe there's a bit, but that's not the issue. So basically, we kept on dancing. I was dancing like crazy, enjoying the night, and then at some point I was like, I'm tired, and I went home, and she stayed there. And then I saw a post by her where she was like that she spoke to him until the morning, whatever what they were, and that she goes through the same process as him, and that he's been criticized for his viewpoints and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And I was a bit shocked how what it does with a person if they're so in awe, such a fangirl of his, how blind they can be. But it has to do more with spiritual awakening, and I'll tell you why. So so the thing so the thing is, I love myself. So the thing is, I had a spiritual awakening through Mooji. Okay, I wouldn't hide it. And Mooji comes from Papaji, and Papaji comes from Ramana Maharshi. If all of these things didn't exist, I wouldn't have had an awakening. Awakening completely changed my life. The tantra massages, the van life, the ability to disengage from my own thoughts, just be as beingness, all of that stuff. And here comes the interesting thing. So, I know the direct benefits of spiritual awakening. Most people, 99.9999999% of people are not awakened. You need either some auspiciousness, some grace by God to awaken, like Eckhart Tolle, Ramana, or you must have a teacher until it really happens. And for me, it was a whole year. I was watching his videos the whole year, every day, like half an hour to 2 hours, depending on the day. And then after a year, the awakening happened. And so I know it can be a process and it can take some time, but you have to really be disciplined in watching these gurus. And so basically, Sam Garrett profited of the teaching of these gurus, but now starts to publicly diss them. And I felt, since I know this girl, and I actually commented under it and see, Sam Garrett is not that humble because he's been profiting off of these teachings of them. And then Sam Garrett answers, and this is where he gets it completely wrong. He answers that these teachings, that these gurus do it only for money, that they're only in it for money or for the money or whatever. And I think that this is a severe misinterpretation or misunderstanding or misjudgment of the whole situation, because literally, whether it's Eckhart Tolle, whether it's Mooji, whether it's Rupert Spira, all of their teachings are completely for free, and the material is like hours and hours and hours. If you watch every day for a year, you wouldn't get all the content probably. So it's literally all for free. It's literally, and you can have a spiritual awakening just from the videos I did. You don't even have to go there. So actually, it makes going there unnecessary. And so I really have to emphasize this point, because what Sam Garrett is saying is absolute bullshit. If they would be only doing for the money, they would put out teasers, and then they would say you have to come to or buy something online, and that's completely bullshit. Plus, once you have a certain size of operation, in this, like a sangha, whatever, and people are like living together, you need some form of money. I think this whole idea that money is evil, it depends on the context. If the actual intention is the right one, it's not a problem. Literally all of the teachings are for free. So Sam Garrett is to him, he's lying to himself for whatever reason. Maybe because his ego is still too strong, his personhood, his I identification with the thoughts and with his persona is still too strong. And I think that's probably his biggest problem, because you notice this extreme self imagery that he puts out when he says, he's basically a modern Jesus, which, it's going to be like a British humor, but it's so superficial, so extremely superficial. And then you have these friends like I did. I stopped being friends with her because I don't like, if somebody's so fixated, it shows that they don't have the spiritual capacity to like understand. It's all bullshit. So basically what I'm trying to say is spiritual awakening is true. It really exists in the context that I'm saying it. You're awakening to your true self. And it's very rare for teachers to be talking about it all day. That means that something has happened in them which is truly very profound. If they're able to literally point you to that every single day, and everyone who comes in contact with them, it means it literally has a soul anchor in their field. It's not just because of money. This is absolute misinterpretation of what's going on. So I definitely wanted to put that out there. Awakening is spiritual awakening is, in that sense, it's not a joke. You can laugh about it, but it's not a joke. It's real. It's absolutely real. And if you don't have the devotion or the discipline to really, or the soul mission to go there and listen to these videos all day long, or as much until you awaken, it doesn't matter whether it's Rupert Spira, Eckhart Tolle, Mooji, Papaji, Ramana Maharshi, Sri Nisargadatta. They basically all teach the same thing. And but for me, Mooji was the key. I read Eckhart Tolle. Didn't it didn't it maybe set a seed, but the true awakening came with watching Mooji videos. So especially the older ones. So I just want to put that out there very clearly. And I think it's highly irresponsible to have like 100,000s of fans and then say, all these gurus are shit, basically, without even giving context. That's basically a spiritual crisis rather than clarity. You could, say Deepak Chopra. I mean, Deepak Chopra is not a real guru. He's just an MD who decided to write about, esoterics. It's a totally different thing. But Mooji, Papaji, Ramana Maharshi, they're the real deal. You could discuss whether someone is living it more or less, or like Ramana definitely was hardcore, but and you can discuss whether you like that they're vegan, vegetarian, or meat eaters, but those are, in comparison to the true spiritual awakening, those are superficial, because true spiritual awakening is the realization that it's all a dream, that's literally just here for you to awaken. And one thing is, just one thing apart, because I just realized it's not related to that, is I'm literally eating more and more less meat. I actually am. I don't find eggs tasty anymore, for example. So my taste is also starting to change a bit. I noticed that. Okay. Yeah, today's my birthday. Yippee. And have a nice day.